when I was out there and that last volley went into the net, all I kept saying was, it's over. Wimbledon champion, Wimbledon champion.
1-6, 6-4.
I didn't know what to think. Especially Wimbledon being the greatest title a tennis player could win.
Andre Agassi holds aloft the President's Cup, the 1992 men's Wimbledon champion. And Steffi Graf holding the Venus Rosewater Dish, ladies Wimbledon champion for the 4th time. Well, those were the scenes at the end of what turned out to be 2 weeks of great tennis, which included some unexpected surprises too. Well, of course, it's all over now, and the famous centre court lays silent as the year-long process of preparing Wimbledon for the next year begins. The thousands of spectators that have avidly watched the tennis over the 2 weeks here have gone, and the queues haven't quite started building up for next year. But let's look back at the highlights, which make Wimbledon such a memorable occasion. It all started with 23-year-old Michael Stich from Germany, stepping back onto the centre court for his defence of the championship. And on that famous stage, Wimbledon paid a royal tribute to Dan Maskell, whose distinctive voice was missed. He had retired from commentating after 43 years, shortly before these championships. But he was there to watch the current champion and 3rd seed bombard his first-round opponent, clay court specialist Stefano Pescasolido of Italy, with 12 aces, reaching 130 miles an hour at times as he strolled to victory in 3 sets. So let's have a look at the other seeds. The top seed and world's #1, 21-year-old American Jim Courier. He had an efficient first-round win as he began the 3rd stage of a Grand Slam clean sweep. The smooth style of Swede Stefan Edberg, Wimbledon champion in '88 and '90, seeded 2, no problems for him, a straight sets victory over the American Steve Bryan. Boris Becker, who'd been in 6 of the last 7 finals, showing that he still had the thirst for a 4th Wimbledon crown, still only 24. The 4th seed defeated Omar Camporese in straight sets. And the rest of the seeds, Ivan Lendl, the #10, still hoping for that elusive first Wimbledon title, and Andre Agassi, the 12th seed, looking for his first major championship win. Michael Chang, winner of the 1989 French Open, had returned to form this year, yet he found himself in deep trouble against Britain's Jeremy Bates in his opening round match on court 14.
Oh! Tremendous reaction, a fine running forehand.
Bates, ranked 113 in the world, reflects on the first 2 sets, which he won 6-4, 6-3, with some stunning tennis. He's now 5-3 up in the 3rd set, and at match point against the #7 seed.
About the ferocity of the return on match point.
Deuce.
Advantage Chang.
Been very few limp volleys from Jeremy Bates. Sadly, that was one. 2nd break point, Chang.
It's out.
Dead right, it's well out. Longest game of the match.
Well, this is Michael Chang arguing with the call, but no chance that Palarabao will overrule that. Any overrules by the umpire have got to be immediate.
advantage Chang.
What a very good second service.
Good point from Jeremy Bates. Gets in very tight on the net. At one stage, I thought he was going to do a topspin lob. Look how close he is to the net, cutting out the angle on the volley.
Deuce for the 4th time. Staircase is full. The members of the British Press Corps in attendance. Headlines tomorrow, but what will they say?
Advantage Bates.
Take your time. Match point number 2.
Second match Bates. 6-4, 6-3, 6-3.
Skies over Wimbledon are very grey, but Jeremy Bates has just had his biggest ray of sunshine here.
Jeremy Bates then sensationally knocking out the 7th seed, the first major upset of the championships. The other seeds safely through to the 2nd round. Among other players of note this year were 3 somewhat aging former champions. The first on court was the man who's been coming here for 20 years, Jimmy Connors, the old entertainer, who let no one down on that score. That rally perhaps the best of the match, and Connors was still smiling even when his Mexican opponent, Luis Herrera, had 3 match points.
3 more match points for Herrera.
Game, set, match. 6-2, 1-6.
Standing ovation. And they will be wondering whether they will have the opportunity to applaud Jimmy Connors again.
A crescendo of noise as Jimmy Connors leaves court number 1 and leaves the 92 Wimbledon Championships. John McEnroe is 33, no longer accorded the dignity of seeding, and 8 years away from his last singles final. But his performance against Louis Matar lacked none of that old McEnroe magic. And Pat Cash, a former Wimbledon champion as well, was as dynamic as ever. Cash, with his 3-set victory over AELTC, would meet his old rival McEnroe in the 2nd round, a match that proved to be the highlight of the opening week's play, and we'll be taking a look at it shortly. Steffi Graf, seeking her 4th Wimbledon crown, began her defence of the title in commanding fashion. Her unfortunate opponent was the 19-year-old Noël van Lottem from France, who had her serve broken 3 times in the 2nd set. The 2nd seed wrapped it all up in 47 minutes. Graf's major obstacle, the world's #1 Monica Seles, on course for the Grand Slam. This will undoubtedly be the hardest leg, but not only will she have to contend with grass, but also the dazzling glare of unprecedented scrutiny.
Oh, look at this. And that is just a marvellous return.
Seles, the #1 seed, safely through to the second round, as were the other 15 seeds. But it was at that point that the second major upset of the championship emerged. The young French girl, Julie Allard, against the 5th seed, Arantxa Sanchez Vicario, here serving to stay in the match.
Well played. Oh, that's another screamer. Wonderful match and a major upset on court 1.
Sanchez Vicario out, just like Michael Chang. Those, though, the only real surprises, apart from the lack of rain, in marked contrast to the previous year's opening week. In fact, the weather couldn't have been better, as the crowd watched a feast of tennis from not only the show courts, but the outside courts as well. Wimbledon was looking marvellous. And there couldn't have been a second-round match more exciting than that between John McEnroe and Pat Cash. Both men seemed determined to leave their mark on the championships with a breathtaking display of tennis. Now let's pick up the match at 1-set-all, and McEnroe serving at 5-6 to stay in the third set.
Love 15.
And what a great return from Cash. The ball swinging straight into his body. He managed to move sideways and still control that return straight down the line. Key point at this stage of the match.
Fifteen all.
Would you believe it? That was miraculous reflexes.
And Cash not really recognised for having great touch. This backhand down across court, McEnroe picking up. But look at the touch. That ball almost on the ground, dropped right in the corner. Unplayable for McEnroe. 15-30.
All.
And a real tight point, nursed that close to the baseline. This is where he's lost a little physical strength, although he put this away, not with the same force of several years ago. 5-6, 30 all.
Oh dear. Well, he's been under the severest stress in this particular game, thanks to the magic from the racket of Cash. It's his third double fault. That serve only delivered, John Alexander tells me, at 72 miles an hour.
And the first serve only at 98. Possibly his slowest first and slowest second serve of the match.
So it's a set point to Cash.
Deuce.
Time for Cash to regroup mentally, steady himself down. He's had the one chance. It really was a chance.
First serve.
Come on, the ball's a foot over the net.
Quiet, please. Advantage, Cash.
Well, very smart of Cash to use the lob continually at these significant moments in the match, because I have a feeling that the third set today is going to be,
Thank you.
if not decisive,
Quiet, please.
a very, very important part of the final result. They've been playing for 2 hours and 35 minutes, and it's another set point.
Deuce.
Nothing you can do about luck.
Thank you. Thank you. Quiet, please. Advantage, McEnroe. Deuce.
Well, it happens, doesn't it? Even from the great champions.
Quiet, please. Advantage, McEnroe. Quiet, please. McEnroe.
Well, surviving very dangerously to the delight of many of the spectators here. They came to see a match, and my goodness, they've certainly got one now.
Tiebreak for the third set, but to McEnroe's dismay, he found himself trailing badly.
6 points to 1.
First is
Game in
long.
third set, cash.
McEnroe won the fourth set to level the match. The centre court had just what they wanted,
you.
a fifth set shootout. Let's
Ladies
pick
and
it up,
gentlemen,
2
quiet,
games
please.
all,
Thank you.
cash to serve.
Love 15. Love 30. Quiet, please.
Assisting with this very early ball return, which is very embarrassing when it goes over. I mean, so often this afternoon that has stretched Cash beyond the limit.
Has been stung several times serving the kick
15,
ball to
40.
the McEnroe forehand. Several times McEnroe has gone down the line, but he's just saved up the easier cross-court one for
Quiet,
such
please.
an occasion.
Quiet, please.
A great match player.
First. Quiet, please.
From that point on, McEnroe had the edge on Cash, whose lack of match practice was beginning to show. And here, McEnroe has match point.
Thank you. Thank you. Game, set, match, McEnroe. 6-7, 6-4, 6-7, 6-3, 6-2.
It was great tennis, and to come back from 2 sets to 1 down against a player as good as Pat on grass was a great victory for me.
It's a pity, we had to play each other second round, but it was a good match. I think the standard of tennis was incredibly high considering second rounds. Usually the players take a while to get into the rhythm and whatever, but that was, I played very well. I think he played very well too.
This year I felt like I had good preparation. I had a good couple weeks. I felt like I was hitting the ball the whole time, but it came together today. I needed it to. I was down 2 sets to 1. Pat was playing great. I was lucky to win.
Jeremy Bates was the next target for the autograph hunters after another giant-killing performance in his second round match. From that point on, McEnroe had the edge on Cash, whose lack of match practice was beginning to show. And here, McEnroe has match point.
Thank you. Thank you. Game, set, match, McEnroe. 6-7, 6-4, 6-7, 6-3, 6-2.
It was great tennis, and to come back from 2 sets to 1 down against a player as good as Pat on grass was a great victory for me.
It's a pity, we had to play each other second round, but it was a good match. I think the standard of tennis was incredibly high considering second rounds. Usually the players take a while to get into the rhythm and whatever, but that was, I played very well. I think he played very well too.
This year I felt like I had good preparation. I had a good couple weeks. I felt like I was hitting the ball the whole time, but it came together today. I needed it to. I was down 2 sets to 1. Pat was playing great. I was lucky to win.
Jeremy Bates was the next target for the autograph hunters after another giant-killing performance in his second round match. This time, his opponent was brother of ousted Arantxa Sanchez Vicario, Javier Sanchez. Bates produced a professional and polished performance against the Spaniard to take him into a third-round clash with Thierry Champion of France.
Thank you.
Apart from the excitement of a British player in the third round, the big hitters were causing a stir amongst the crowd.
40 love.
Fifth seed Pete Sampras, the laid-back Californian, had been out demonstrating his serve against Todd Woodbridge. Dismissing Woodbridge, his next opponent was sporting his pirate-type headgear. Maybe his shades got in the way. He could only take 3 games off Sampras and was swept aside in just over an hour.
Game, set, match, Sampras. 3 sets to 1. 6 rounds.
Another ace blaster of the course was also in action, 8th seed Goran Ivanisevic. His victim here is Australian Mark Woodford, and even though he took a set off Goran, he didn't quite know what to do to avoid the firing line as 34 unstoppable aces whistled past him. The fastest recorded at 129 miles an hour, and at one stage he even served right-handed and recorded the slowest serve of the championships, 37 miles an hour. But he still won the point. There were some other lighter moments. This one from Belgian Sabine Appelmans at the expense of the net court judge. wait too long for John McEnroe to give someone a hard time. McEnroe partnering Stieck in the men's doubles, leading #1 seeds Fitzgerald and Jarrett, the defending champions, at which point, with failing light, play was suspended. Not surprisingly, Mr. McEnroe told Mr. Alan Mills, championship referee, exactly what he thought of that. And McEnroe had the backing of the entire centre court crowd. They didn't want to go home either. The one player who did want to go home was Martina Navratilova, who just lost the second set of her match against Kimberly Poe 6-3, tying the match at 1 set apiece. With light fading, she seemed to prompt the referee to abandon play for the day.
There is no gamesmanship involved. What are you talking about? She didn't want to play either. It's just that I was the first one that asked the referee to call, the umpire to call the referee, that's all. It's 8:45.
Well, Martina came back the next day, obviously somewhat refreshed, sweeping through the final set, 6-love. And the 6th day of the championships was to prove to be the most exciting day of the first week. 2,000 lucky people had queued outside all night to get centre court tickets. Wimbledon was alive with the sound of music long before the players climbed their various mountains. It was People's Saturday, recreating the atmosphere of last year's Middle Sunday. Everyone enjoying the carnival mood in the glorious sunshine. Many desperate just to catch a glimpse of their idols. Always an expert, never very far away.
Becker, back to Becker.
Not Monica Seles. Probably Graf, definitely Graf, yeah. Hence, Ibrisic.
Edberg. Courier. Like always.
The carnival atmosphere was heightened by the reappearance of the Las Vegas showman himself, Andre Agassi. 13,000 people were waiting on centre court for his 3rd round match against Derek Rostagno. The atmosphere was more akin to a football match. Gary and Bobby must have felt quite at home. Waiting too, Agassi's mentor and coach Nick Bollettieri and girlfriend Wendy. And there's no doubt who the crowd wanted to win. Agassi duly obliged, showing a mastery on grass that was taking the world by surprise.
Oh, lovely lob. Such a quick thinker. Oh, sensational, really. Really good.
Game Agassi. Game Agassi.
A straight set victory for Agassi, but he still had time to acknowledge those adoring fans. Jim Courier, the world's #1, had a centre court rendezvous with a Russian qualifier, Andrei Olhovsky. But Courier found himself trailing 2-1. We pick it up at 4 games all, 4th set.
And that has to be a brilliant placement. He was well back from the baseline when he played it.
Well, it's quite bad news for Olchowski that the courier serve is beginning really now to function. Should have made that pass. Olchowski going to the net on a prayer, really. Not a good return. Sometimes works, frightens your opponent into error. Unlucky with the net cord return. But these are moments
Quiet, please.
which are going to put the number one seed absolutely to the test. And a beautiful clean pass which he had to make.
Choose.
Well, that shows that there is still some tension. That was his favourite side, his favourite shot. Plenty of space to play it into. He's done it.
Now on this shot, the Russian just hesitates a half a second there and just sends Courier the wrong way.
Advantage, Olchowski.
Tremendous backhand cross-court. Set up.
Quiet, please. Quiet, please, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Quiet, please. Olchowski leads 5 games to 4 set by 2 sets to 1. Quiet, please. Quiet, please. Ready to play.
So
Ready
the
to
biggest
play. Thank you.
upset by far of this year's Wimbledon is absolutely on the cards here. Very close.
15.
Olchowski, cool as a master chess player.
4 set by 2 sets to 1. Quiet, please. Quiet, please. Ready to play.
So
Ready
the biggest
to play.
upset by far of this year's Wimbledon is absolutely on the cards here. Very close.
15.
Cool as a master chess player.
Quiet, please. Ready to play.
And the qualifier,
Quiet, please. Thank you.
the qualifier has the #1 man in the world at match point.
Quiet, please.
You know, that return of serve reflects great credit on Courier. It was cool, it was low, it was testing. 1 match point gone, 2 to go.
Game, 7 match, Olhofsky. 3 sets to 1. 6-4, 4-6, 6-4, 6-4.
I wouldn't call them lesser players. I would say that on any given day, and I've said it before, any given day, any player can beat anybody, and you know, the game is just like that. 3 out of 5 set lends itself to the best player winning.
The #1 seed out, but still in Jeremy Bates, who was hoping to continue his giant-killing performances in these championships, this time against the Frenchman Thierry Champion. For Bates, victory looked almost certain after taking the first 2 sets, but the pressures of becoming the first Briton to reach the last 16 since Buster Mottram a decade before were beginning to tell. And Bates lost the next 2 sets as his concentration and confidence appeared to falter.
30 love. 2 sets all, obviously. I mean, you know, when you're playing a 5-set match, you're up 2 sets to love. It sort of looks like you maybe are almost over, but I knew I had a long way to go. And I was really struggling at the start of the 5th set, and I was down 3 or 4 break points the first 2 service games. And I was so tired at that stage, I needed a bit of a lift, and holding those 2 games gave me that. And I just carried on, tried to stick with what I was doing. You know, when you play 5 sets, okay, you lose a couple of sets. I was up 2 sets, lost the next 2, but the 5th set is always completely different. You know, it's sort of like
starting again.
Yeah, it is, and I was aware of that. And you know, I got something from somewhere. It was just, I was just committed to it. I wanted to win still.
He was so close to winning it in 3, and now this is the reception. He comes out to win in 5. Ace takes Jeremy Bates to 3 match points.
usual respect. And a remarkable victory for Jeremy Bates. A superb victory. He goes into the last 16 for the first time. And the home country has a man still going into the second week of the Wimbledon Championship.
And his opponent in the last 16, another Frenchman, Guy Forget, who beat fellow countryman Henri Lecomte. Now, most players take advantage of the courtesy cars which ferry them to and from Wimbledon, but not the Wheatons. David and family powered their own way to work each day. Last year, his tennis was rather more supercharged, beating Lendl and Agassi before being ousted by Boris Becker in the semi-finals. But this year, he was up against the unseeded, yet revitalised John McEnroe, who beat him in 3 straight sets. So it was John McEnroe to meet Olhovsky, that man who knocked out Jim Courier, the #1 seed. Also out, Peter Korda, the Czech. He lost to Hlasek in the second round, but still 9 seeds remained at the end of the first week. The ladies' championship was treading a more predictable route. The top seed, Monica Seles, still just 18, had reached the last 8 at Wimbledon for the second time, removing Gigi Fernandez in 2 sets. Steffi Graf threw 2. Mind you, she'd suffered something of a crisis in an earlier third-round match with the South African Marion de Schwartz. She found herself a set down. From exasperation to cool efficiency, though, as she won the second set 6-love in just 19 minutes. The South African put up a good fight against the Wimbledon champion, but Graf took advantage on her second match point to win 5-7, 6-love, 7-5. Gabriela Sabatini had been having the easiest time of the top seeds. Christine Goodridge, her victim here, on court 14. The Argentinian #3 seed, who just missed out on the Wimbledon title last year, would play Jennifer Capriati in the quarter-finals. Martina Navratilova had a 10th championship in mind, positive and entertaining too. That optimistic volley left her opponent Barbara Rittner and the crowd gasping. It could have left her gasping too.
Game, 7 match, Miss Navratilova. 2 sets to love, 7-5, 6-1.
Victory here, and against Indonesia's most successful player, Yayuk Bazuki, in the 4th round, gave Navratilova a quarter-final place against Katerina Maleva. And it was Maleva who had ended Julie Allard's run of success. Women's quarter-final day was also the end of what had been a run of constant sunshine. It had to come on the 8th day. The skies sulked and wept, and between 1 o'clock and 5 o'clock there was no play at all. When it did resume, the Capriati-Sabatini match drew all the attention. We joined it, though, with Capriati needing to hold the next service game to stay in the match.
Sabatini leads 5 games to 2, final set.
I just wonder if Jennifer's asking if this can be suspended. It would be a terrible time to stop this match, wouldn't it?
I'm sure she is, and I think it's not a bad idea for her, but I think they can't stop it at this stage. Apparently you can't stop in an odd number of games. You know, there's so much drama and so much tension, and the crowd is so into this match, and I have to take my hat off to Gabriela, because she looked so strained there, and she's so tense that she's late hitting a shot, so she has to go into the net.
And I really think this incredibly enthusiastic centre court crowd are contributing to a memorable match.
Quiet, please. First service.
15 love. First service. Deuce. Advantage, Miss Capriati. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Thank you. Quiet, please. Game, Miss Capriati. Ladies and gentlemen, due to failing light, play is suspended.
Gabriella is bitterly disappointed and shocked. Jennifer cannot wait to get off the court.
Well, it is too dark, really, and, you know, you can go on playing this game forever, so... Wow, what incredible tennis here tonight, and so much tension, and, you know, whatever happens tomorrow, I think it will probably be an anticlimax.
In fact, when they reappeared the following day, it was very much an anticlimax. Sabatini won the first 3 points to give her match point.
Game, set, match, Miss Sabatini.
The game had lasted only minutes, but it was long enough to put Sabatini into the semi-finals. Her opponent, Steffi Graf, who earlier took 2 sets to beat Zvereva. Martina Navratilova, 36 this year, continued her dream of that 10th Wimbledon title by winning her quarter-final match against Maleva. She won in 2 sets, and her delight in reaching yet another semi-final was quite obvious. Her opponent, though, would be the world's #1 and top seed Monica Seles. Her passage through the opening rounds sent shivers down the spines of her opponents, and Natalie Toziat was no exception, as Seles grunted her way to victory in 2 sets.
Part of my game. It's really pretty much every match, when it's a tougher match, it comes back to me. I think it's part of my game. It's been with me since I was 11. And as I said millions of times, you know, the only time I really get a problem with it is when I'm here, and I don't know why. I think some of the journalists just really pick on it. But I'm not doing it on purpose, and I don't realize I'm doing it because you don't know how hard I'm trying to get rid of it, so people are, you know, not going to always ask me about it because I just don't like answering it anymore. But I think, you know, Martina has never complained. I think great, you know, top players really, I think they're just concentrating the ball.
Toziat was unable to hear the ball being struck, and the umpire was finally forced into having a few words with Miss Seles.
Now, the umpire, I think, has had a word with Monica Seles. He called her up there. Now, has he asked her to keep quiet? And if so, will she?
Game, set, match, Miss Seles. 2 sets to love.
Well, you'll have to judge for yourself on the grunting as we move into the Seles Navratilova semi-final. It's 1 set all, Seles serving at 5-3, and Martina needs to break it if she's to stay in this championship.
Love 15. Monica very unhappy about that call. She felt the service was out. Love 15. And again, Martina controls this volley so well. So tempting to hit it hard, but she keeps the swing short.
Quiet, please. Thank you.
Players
15-40.
forcing one another to play better and better shots. Oh, she's done it.
5-4, final set. Quiet, please.
Martina took a quick look at the lines person to make sure that overhead was called in. It was closer than she meant. 15 love.
Well, they both. I think they both thought that was good. Amazing.
Quiet, please. Quiet, please.
Oh, she rushed it.
15-30.
How can you play so hard and come up smiling?
So, for Seles, after that laser-like pass.
Quiet, please. Quiet, please, ladies and gentlemen.
Full marks for courage. Match point number 2.
Quiet, please.
That's it. She's done it.
In-set match with Seles. 6-2, 6-7, 6-4.
So the disappointment written on the face of the 9-times champion after a really brave effort to stem the power and accuracy of this young world champion, and a tearful farewell to Wimbledon 92 for Martina.
So exit Navratilova, enter Sabatini and Graf. It was a rerun of last year's Wimbledon final, which was won by Miss Graf after 3 brilliant sets. It proved difficult for them to match the thrills of the Seles Navratilova match. Miss Graf won the first set 6-3, and as we join it at 5-3 in the second, she's only 2 points from victory.
Miss Graf. 2 sets to love. 6-4,
So it's Graf v Seles in the final, with Graf looking for revenge after her defeat by Seles in the French Open just a few weeks before. The last time we were with the men's singles was the 4th round, and all eyes were on the unseeded players John McEnroe and Jeremy Bates. McEnroe continued his inspired tennis, this time at the expense of the Russian Andrei Olhovsky. McEnroe would now meet the winner of this match, which was Britain's Jeremy Bates, who, remember, was ranked 113 in the world, against the number 9 seed, Guy Forget. It's a tie-break for the opening set. We join it with Forget serving 10-9.
So, Guy Forget, 4th opportunity. 2nd in the tie-break, and now on his own serve.
Absolutely remarkable shot here from Bates. And Forget was very much guarding that side, and so it was an extremely brave shot, apart from being a very accurate one.
Thank you. Quiet, please.
I think Forget's morale might have slipped a bit after that.
Thank you.
He was at full stretch to reach it. Well, this is remarkably good tennis by both men, really, with this shot from Bates. Forget, you can see him up to the net very quickly, very agile, but cannot take off in time for that. 2 quite incredible points by Bates. And he now has set point.
Thank you. Quiet, please.
Is it to be 3rd time lucky?
Bates lost the next set, but took the 3rd 6-3. By the 4th, he found himself looking at a place in the last 8. He's at 5-4 and serving match point.
Thank you. Quiet, please.
Really a more important toss-up of the ball.
Thank you.
Well, to be truthful, the Frenchman has allowed him to get away with several of those, but not that time.
Advantage Forget.
thought it was going to be too long. That's the dangerous thing about leaving a Forget passing shot, that it has that topspin on it, and it just dipped in.
Second break point.
That is hugely unkind. Unfortunate for the Frenchman.
In fact, the fourth set went to a tie-break.
He has been so unlucky. Well, what can you say about a point like this?
A gallant effort by Bates, but he had no luck with the net course, and Forget won the tie-break 7-2. In the fifth set, Forget finally dominated, and at 5-3, he was now at match point.
Set, match, Forget. Three sets to 2.
And so the run comes to an end. But it's a run that has done great credit to Jeremy Bates and has been a huge boost to British tennis.
Bates shattered, particularly after having match point in that fourth set. But nevertheless, a wonderful achievement to have reached the last 16. And the quarterfinals wouldn't involve Ivan Lendl. He retired hurt against 8th seed Goran Ivanisevic. Lendl's dream of winning the Wimbledon title, the only major to elude him, over. 32-year-old Lendl had been having problems with his back for several days, but had kept the injury secret. They called it a day in the fourth set, and any remaining thought about becoming Wimbledon champion must surely have disappeared for good.
Injury, Mr. Lendl will not be able to finish. Game, set, match, Ivanisevic.
Now it was Ivanisevic against Stefan Edberg in the quarter-final. All the other seeds who were still in the fourth round won their matches, with the exception of Wayne Ferreira, who lost to Boris Becker. So now the action from that Edberg-Ivanisevic match. Final set, and Edberg's trailing 3-4. He's also facing break point.
Ivanisevic leads 5-3. Final sets.
I can think of two players, Ivanisevic and Boris Becker, who have the nerve to go for this shot. The outright winner to give him the break of serve. Off the top of the net again. For the match.
Love 15.
I don't want it to end.
All.
The crowd, that is, not the players. Oh, it's another foot fault. Fifth one against him. Proved expensive this time too.
Quiet, please.
Ivanisevic is just racing through it. It's on the line, it's good.
15-40.
Well, Ivanisevic really had a long stare at this, but Edberg did very well because the ball landed on the outside edge of the line, and if he'd missed that, he'd have been really in trouble.
Staggeringly, 2 points for a break back.
30-40.
1 point for a break back.
Thank you. Quiet, please. Deuce.
Well, an implacable-looking Tony Pickard, but what must he be feeling and what must his charge be feeling?
Quiet, please.
There's nothing he can do about those bullets.
Go service. Advantage, Edberg. Deuce.
Three break points saved.
Ivanisevic.
And with his 33rd ace,
thank you.
His first match point.
Quiet, please. Ivanisevic.
Rarely can I remember such tension on a tennis court.
That's it. Game, set, match. Ivanisevic.
So with Edberg out, the highest remaining seed was Michael Stich, who was involved in a highly charged quarter-final against 5th seed Pete Sampras.
And Pete Sampras is getting a little...
Just like, you know, if you get him all the important points, I don't have to play anymore. You take away all chances I have just by these guys just falling asleep down there. I don't have to keep on playing.
With the defending champion particularly edgy and unable to find his form, Sampras sent Stich crashing out of the championship 6-3, 6-2, 6-4. And on the centre court, the third quarter-final was taking place between 12th seed Andre Agassi and 4th seed Boris Becker. Becker, 3 times champion and grass court specialist, fighting all the way to contain the phenomenal power of the American. acrobatics from Becker helped break Agassi's serve in that game, but the worried expressions from the Agassi camp didn't stay, as the American outgunned the grass court expert. Becker was still there after 4 sets of constant battering from the Agassi return, but now the 5th set where he found himself 5 games to 1 down and facing match point.
Fault.
Oh, come on!
Cheers. John Perry called that overruled. So we'll see how that affects Agassi. Well, he's going to have a word with the umpire.
With something that close, not on match point. Just let me give you a little advice, not on match point.
Well, he has a lot of sympathy because the ball certainly did appear to be very close to that line and perhaps a little chalk, but that doesn't necessarily always mean that it was in.
Agassi.
Well, was that the last chance for Becker? He created the opening, missed the volley, and for the second time, it's match point.
Players playing with the finest of margins. Becker out of court. Now this ball just inside the baseline. And Agassi's volley deep. And that passing shot barely in. Back to deuce.
Advantage Agassi.
Clever serve, though, that. It was low, sliding out wide. And it is the weaker side, the Becker forehand. For the 3rd time, then, match point.
Juice. First service.
Well played. Masterly touch there from Agassi.
Advantage Agassi.
Outwitting Becker thoroughly there to earn a 4th match point. Well, it was there for the taking.
Juice.
Times without number in this match yesterday and today. He's flashed winning passes across the court, low and fast, but not when it really mattered. ball thinking clearly out there, Becker.
Giving everything he's got, Becker, into the net. That's been his tactics throughout the match. This drop volley was read by Agassi, but Becker anticipating the pickup.
First service.
Game Becker, ball change.
Becker continued to survive by the skin of his teeth and won the next game on his serve. But that's where we rejoin it. Agassi 5-3 up and serving, and 30 love.
Not this time. Well, perhaps Becker knew that that might be the likely outcome if he did come in. It's happened so often throughout this match. So for the 5th time, Andre Agassi at match point.
Game, set, match, Agassi. He wins 3 sets to 2, 4-6, 6-2, 6-2, 4-6, 6-3.
This is thrilling. I tell you what, semifinals feels better than the finals of any other Grand Slam. This place has an energy out there that it's quite it feels quite good. I wish I had the words for it.
Of course, Wimbledon wouldn't be the same without a few more words from McEnroe.
Was that a clear mistake? That was this far long. This far long. I mean, that ball was beyond the 12 inches. That was beyond the 12 inches and wide. You can't possibly, in your wildest dreams, think that ball was in. That ball was this far long and this far wide. This is not a clear mistake?
Not quite a foot wide, and needless to say, McEnroe didn't win the point, but he did win the match, toppling Guy Forget out of the championship in 3 straight sets to the delight of his fans.
6-2, 7-6, 6-3.
Now he'd meet Agassi.
It's a great opportunity for both of us. Andre and I have a great relationship. We're friends, and whatever happens, I mean, if I lose to him, I'd be happy that he has a chance to play for the Wimbledon title, and I think the same goes for him. And those are the type of things that make it fun.
And semi-final day was fun. There was no tennis, just rain and more rain. The whole of the second week had fought bravely with the weather, but on the last Friday, the heavens opened, no play at all. It was touch and go on the next day, but there was play, and it began with the 2 men's semi-finals. On centre court, Andre Agassi stunned John McEnroe with the quality of his play.
It's incredible. It is quite incredible.
30 all.
Look at this incredible rally. And who said you can't have rallies on grass these days? But Agassi's length is so perfect that that's the first chance that McEnroe has to get in. And what does he do? He hits the line. And small wonder that McEnroe cannot believe what has happened to him. That's it.
Game, set, match, Agassi. 3 sets to love. 6-4, 6-2, 6-3.
Got to give him a lot of credit because his return is incredible, and he does so much with it. And he mixes it up, and he passes so well. It's amazing how well he can do that on grass, and it's helped him that they've slowed the courts down a little bit. And I give him all the credit and wish him all the best in the final.
In the other semi-final, Pete Sampras, the top seed left in, as anticipated, had trouble with the explosive serve of Ivanisevic. So, Ivanisevic against Agassi. Who'd have thought that the 8th seed would meet the 12th seed in the men's singles final? Steffi Graf and Monica Seles came onto court at the appointed time of 2 o'clock. And there was some marvellous tennis. We'll join it with Graf leading 4-2 in the first set and serving.
love. 30 love.
There's no chance that anybody in the world could get it back, and she was completely flat-footed, admiring her own shot.
(40-15). 40-30.
This lady, when driven wide, Steffi this time, rather like Seles before, thought she'd hit a near winner. So 40 love to deuce.
Advantage, Miss Seles. First service. Juice.
And I think the little shriek told us how important a point that was after 40 love and then break point.
Advantage, Miss Seles.
Good heavens above, I thought that was long, and so did Steffi. But that's the ability of Seles to be able to conjure something from nothing. Another break point.
Juice. Advantage, Miss Graf. Juice.
Well, this has now become a rather important game to both of them. Seles to get back the break, and of course for Graf to underline her authority, which is wavering at the moment.
Advantage, Miss Graf. Game is crossed. New balls, please. Miss Graf leads 5-2, first set.
That was Monica's final chance to break serve in the set. What actually happened was that Steffi broke her serve in the following game to take the set 6-2. It was at this stage that the rain came and began to make itself thoroughly annoying again. Graf won the opening game of the second set, and then 3 points into the second game they went off. When they returned, they played just 5 points before it rained again. Amongst all the confusion, Seles could win only one game, finding herself 5-1 down.
2-1, second set.
Well, the forehand is going so beautifully today. The determination is there.
Quiet, please. Thank you.
And the defending champion serving for the title.
Love 15. All.
Such a good length, that serve. So the faithful forehand is accurate once more. 2 championship points.
Game, set, and match. Miss Graf wins by 2 sets to love, 6-2, 6-1.
So here she comes. The reigning champion is greeted as the 1992 champion, holding the Venus Rosewater dish, which was bought in 1886 by the club. 50 guineas it cost in those days.
It was a thorough victory, the biggest margin in the final since Martina Navratilova swept Andrea Jaeger off court a decade before.
She's not that kind of player to beat 6-2, 6-1. Okay, if you play your best, but it's really difficult to play your best against her because she puts so much pressure on you with the way she plays, and no, I never expected it.
So the 1992 ladies champion could now relax and enjoy the men's final, which, unsurprisingly, was interrupted by rain before they'd even played a point. When it finally got underway, it was some match. Final set, it's all level, 3 games apiece, Agassi to serve.
15 all.
Oh, good depth on that reply. He thought it was long, but I don't think it was.
Ladies and gentlemen, please try not to call out during the rallies. Thank you.
3 all, 30 all, final set.
Well, a very important point this. He comes into the net behind a penetrating approach shot and now has the full court to play that backhand volley, and it gives him break point.
Five, please.
Agassi's turn to split the line. Timely moment, just deliver your 9th ace. mixture as before. What a key rally that was.
Advantage Agassi.
Just the glimmer of a chance on that final pass. Clipped the top of the net. Both of them playing at full stretch. Suddenly seems to me that young Ivanisevic suddenly believes that he can win this match. There were doubts in sets 2 and 3. He's come to terms with the whole situation now.
Advantage Agassi.
And it's at these close moments in a match as important as this that the mind inevitably wanders back to the 2 previous meetings you've had against the opponent, Agassi, knowing that he's lost twice, Ivanisevic that he's won twice.
Deuce.
Well, we've come into a purple patch here with both men fencing for position, executing their shots quite perfectly. He had to pick up a very awkward short backhand and he cut down on it with side spin.
First service.
This has become now the longest game in this match after 4 deuces.
Both players won their next service game, so it's 5-4 Agassi. Ivanisevic is serving.
So now...
Quiet, please. Quiet, please. Thank you.
He must hold serve.
Love 15. thank you. Love 30.
The 6th and 7th double faults indicating
Quiet,
here.
please. Thank you.
Perhaps a little tension or loss of concentration. The service return that created that opening, and how well he controlled such a low and difficult ball to produce this first championship point.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Quiet, please.
Yes, he done it.
Resets to 2, 6-7, 6-4, 6-4, 1-6, 6-4.
So the emotions overcome him. And they're tears of delight. Delight at last that he's proved himself in the ultimate test. They've dreamed, they've planned, they've worked for this moment ever since he was a little boy and went to Bollettieri's camp in Florida. And what a glorious moment this is. The President's Cup that has been held aloft by so many great men from his country, and Wendy there, delighted to see at last Andre holding aloft a Grand Slam championship trophy.
Agassi, an outstanding champion and superstar of the court. But let's not forget some of the other winners. The ladies' doubles went to Gigi Fernandez and Natalia Zvereva, the number 2 seeds, beating the top seeds Jana Novotná and Larissa Savchenko-Nealon 2-1. And in the men's doubles, a mammoth match was taking place between number 4 seeds Jim Grab and Richie Renneberg and the unseeded McEnroe-Stick partnership. At 9:20, bad light finally forced the abandonment of the match to the disappointment of both players and spectators. And just look at the score. Final set, 13 games apiece. Play resumed the following day, and the score moved on to 17 games apiece. But McEnroe and Stick were to finally break Renneberg's serve.
extraordinary. We often thought during this match that it would take a little bit of luck. But who would have thought that it would be a forehand that came right off the frame of the racket, turned into a lob, and going for the most perfect topspin lob winner for John McEnroe.
You know, I would think this next point means as much to McEnroe as any other point he's played in that long, illustrious, turbulent career.
Seven, 7-6, 3-6, 7-6, 19-17.
1917, the final set score, and John McEnroe and Michael Stieck, the 1992 doubles champions.